guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're going to go over the most dangerous apps for children online. This list recently came out. I had quite a few thoughts, and I also want to share an article that was recently published where they interviewed Mom Uncharted. Her name is Sarah, but I wanted to share my thoughts about all of this and how it relates to the content that I make about family vloggers. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so two things before we get into the video. Axel is here at my feet, so if you hear any panting, obviously we already know how that goes. This is his house, I just live in it. And secondly, I received a couple of comments over the last couple of weeks on sporadic videos that my captions weren't on, and people were upset about that. Why don't you have captions on? Why aren't your captions turned on? My captions are on for all of my videos. What happens sometimes is that when I publish a video, there's a little bit of like a delay, an hour or two delay for YouTube to finish processing the captions once the video is published. So if that ever happens, just wait an hour and check back. It's usually pretty quick. It's not very long based on what I've seen, but I wanted to clear that up because I would never turn off captions. Like, there's no reason to do that. And I also want to make sure that everybody who needs captions can consume my content. So I wanted to get those two things out of the way. Now, first, let's go over the article, and then we'll go over the other list that was recently published about the most dangerous social media platforms online for kids. Now, I'm going to be reading a lot in this video, so apologies that I'm going to be looking down, but this will be a good video if you want to listen only. There's not going to really be anything to look at in this video. So it says, when Sarah Adams started her TikTok account, Mom Uncharted, in 2021, her goal wasn't to share countless photos and videos of her newborn child, whether it was to confront that practice. For the amount of time parents are online and sharing their children, I just don't see enough conversations happening in regard to the other side of this, the negatives, the potential ramifications, the consequences, issues of privacy, and informed consent, she said. And sometimes I'll get questions like, well, who else do you support on social media? Because I have really reeled back and taken a huge step back as far as sharing the YouTubers and other content creators that I talk about. As some of you might know, that has been a little problematic in the past, because if you say that you support a YouTuber, then all of a sudden you are held accountable for their actions, their toxicity, and their at times hateful content as is published. Now, when it comes to Mom Uncharted, Sarah, I really like her. I like her platform. No, I don't watch all of her videos, but the ones that I do catch, I like the way that she delivers her content. She sticks to the fact. She's not here to, be a menace or be cruel about the opinions that she's sharing, and I do really like her. Another creator that I do like is the TikTok Advocate, and both of them are obviously over on TikTok. So if you're not on the app, then you're probably going to be completely unfamiliar, but both of them are over on TikTok. I don't know if either of them are on YouTube, but out of the small group of creators that I will say I fully support their platforms, Mom Uncharted and the TikTok Advocate both come to mind. It continues by saying Sharon Ting is a relatively new term to describe parents oversharing their children's intimate lives online, but this is not a new concept. The rise of technology, and specifically social media, has made it very easy for parents to record and share every milestone of their children's lives, from birth to the first day of school. But what concerns researchers and parents like Adams is the type of content being shared, such embarrassing moments and traumatic pranks, and the new way it's being exploited. And I talk about this a lot. I'm here for parenting content because I know that it can be very useful to hear parenting tips, experience, whatever you're here for. I totally understand that, but we're obviously focusing on a very specific style of content and the way that it's being used to essentially, embarrass your children and overshare. And those are the things that I focus on here on my channel. It continues by saying a lot of what I talk about in relation to the influencers and family vloggers who have turned their children into content. Monetize them and commercialize their childhood, and whose accounts would not be successful without regularly featuring their children. I recently came across a Jewish TikToker. She shares a lot of parenting content as it relates to, every day in her life. And she does that without showing her son. And it's amazing. I'll include one of her TikToks. She did a little day in the life, and I love this style content. You're making parenting style content, sharing, what you do in a day as a parent, but you're not sharing your child's image. And she even featured her niece, and her niece's face was not in the video as well. There is a way to do it, but people know that when they show their kids, they're going to get more clicks. And at the end of the day, what does it come down to? Clicks, money, engagement, views, followers, all the things.
I spent my long Friday as an Orthodox Jew. My son and I went to work. We went to the kosher grocery store. And somebody tell me if you've used these before, but I do not trust these challah molds to actually make challahs. These are pretty expensive, but you can get pre-washed lettuce that's kosher. Because regular lettuce like this, you actually have to go through a process of checking it for bugs. I actually have this really cool section with meat, dairy, and parv things. So when you keep kosher, you separate your meat and your dairy, and then parv just means neither meat or dairy. So in a kosher kitchen, you have separate utensils for meat, dairy, and parv. Anyways, I'm getting nishnosh dressing, yellow onions, some chicken breast, general chow sauce, white rice, but for my baby, sushi, this fresh pretzel egg challah. I stopped at Walgreens to pick up some pictures. I love these bathroom scrubs. Now I'm putting away my son's laundry. Made some chicken and broccoli and rice to go with that. And I washed and checked my lettuce. Started making some garlic dip and some onion dip. I don't tear on Shabbos, so I pre-cut my paper towels and tinfoil. Then I took a break and played with my baby. I did my Shabbos makeup and put on my Shabbos robe and my brand new earrings and necklace from Gemberry, which I'm super excited about because I feel like they look really nice with this dress. My makeup definitely matches gold better than it does silver. I went to my sister's house to get my niece because we're gonna go get some ice cream. I went home and fed my son dinner, which is basically like 8 spoons of mush. And then I'm gonna give him his bottle. And we're gonna have a Shabbos bath. Oh. And then go to bed before Shabbos even starts. And now I'm gonna light candles.
We should think before we talk about our kids online, because all children deserve a private space to play, make mischief, and even make a few mistakes and grow up better for having made them. I don't mean in terms of board games or make-believe, but I really mean a range of personal freedom for exploration that is free from the unwanted gaze of others, both now and in the future. And it's so funny because a lot of these family vloggers, they put all of this stuff out there and then they get mad when people have an opinion about it. It is the most mind-boggling thing. Do you actually think that you're going to film your kids in the bathtub and not get an ounce of criticism? Most of us that have a brain in our heads are looking at this style content and realizing how detrimental it's going to be to these kids when they get a little older. When it comes to deciding what to share, Plunkett says there are 2 line drawing exercises to consider. The first is an objective line drawing exercise. It is too much if Sharon Ting involves parents doing things that are dangerous, illegal, or criminal, or likely to lead to embarrassment or other negative consequences for their children now or in the future. She considers influencer content to be under this umbrella. She says the parents should ask themselves if they're affording their kids the same protections others would have in a labor industry. And that's obviously where we get into the Coogan Act. I've talked about that a lot on my channel before. And just the home and work life separation that child actors have that these YouTube vlog kids don't. Child actors are going on vacation and they're not having it vlogged. Child actors are having dinner at the dinner table and there's not a freaking camera shoved in their face. In one extreme case that she came across, one account offered to purchase photo sets of their preteen daughter and her friend in midriff-bearing attire. Sadly, there are some parents online who are exploiting specifically their young girls in various ways. You really need to stop and think and realize that if you are sharing anything that can be used to identify them, you are really doing the equivalent of taking out an ad on a billboard by a highway. And not just a highway that some people drive down, but a highway that potentially the whole world could drive down now and in the future. So I'll link that entire article down below. It just came out recently, like I said, and it's just such an important conversation. It's not an easy conversation to have, especially from my seat, because as most of you all know, I'm not a parent. I don't have human children. I have my little dog child, and he is perfectly good for us and our household right now. That also doesn't discount the fact that my voice is important, because I feel like the tough conversations are the unpopular ones. And those are the ones that people are more reluctant to have because of the criticism and backlash that comes alongside it. And I've heard every argument under the sun. It's none of your business. If you don't like it, don't watch it. These parents are spoiling their kids. This parent is super mom or super dad. They're building a better future for their children. They're not your kids, but out. I've heard every single stupid argument under the sun. But I continue to talk about it because if me as one person, I can make the decision to make this type of content on my commentary channel, then I'm hoping that more and more people will start to speak up as well. Because at the end of the day, the most innocent people and beings in this world are children and animals, and they both deserve spokespeople. And I'm happy to do that. It might not make me the most popular person, but I will always share my opinions, whether it's about family vloggers or some stupid product that I don't like. This is an opinion-based channel, and I worry about these kids in the future. I worry about the negative impact that their entire childhoods being plastered all over social media is going to do for them. And I say all the time, I think we're going to see a lot of broken relationships between kids and parents as the next 10 to 15 years roll by. Now let's talk about the most dangerous social media apps as of May 2023. It says the digital age has exposed young teens to all kinds of threats on the web thanks to the ease of smartphone access. And this is why Dougherty Dozen giving their kids fucking iPhones just made my blood boil. And again, back to that, oh, it's none of your business. It's not your money. Don't worry about it. Blah, blah, blah. This is a big, big problem, giving an iPhone to a young child with access to the internet and all of these social media sites. As more and more kids connect to the internet, the chances of cyber stalking, cyberbullying, and social engineering attacks have significantly increased over the years. This is why awareness regarding cyber security is essential for people of all ages to stay secure on the web. This is a really important part of the article. When we talk about kids and digital threats, we discuss issues like cyberbullying, cyberstalking, and catfishing, online sexual harassment, and whatnot. As parents, it is our job to protect our kids from online predators, harassers, stalkers, and every other kind of creep that could harm them, not just the privacy of our kids, but also their life. And this is so, so important. These parents that are choosing to put their kids on social media, even if they don't have their own social media platforms, you're opening your kids up to this ugly world that is the internet. And I'm not saying all of the internet is ugly, but unfortunately, it is something that kids should be shielded from for as long as possible. As long as possible. Hazards of using dangerous social media apps. When we say dangerous, worst, or unsafe social media apps, we don't mean that the app itself is dangerous. We mean that the abuse of these apps by people with hidden deadly motives. Moreover, the culprit who uses the app to harass a person is going to be blamed and punished for all the right reasons. By abusing the social media app, an individual may hack into your kid's device to extract personal information. To a parent's worst nightmare, he may exploit the information to stalk your child online, make him or her a target of cyberbullying, sexual harassment, or unethical social engineering. In fact, it will take just a glance for you to discover thousands of cases that are linked to the abusive use of social media applications. Take, for instance, the suicide of Amanda Todd, a teenager from British Columbia. The teenager took a risk while video chatting with a stranger. The culprit then used the opportunity to blackmail her and even publicized her risque images, which ultimately became the reason for cyberbullying and eventually led to her death. This conversation about kids being on the internet is not for clout. It's not the popular thing to talk about. It's not for clicks and views. It's an important conversation that needs to be had. And if these parents aren't going to protect their kids, then they're going to be called out for it. And that's just the way the internet works. Accountability culture, I always say, it's not cancel culture, it's accountability culture. And when you put your stuff online, it is up for criticism. So if you don't want it criticized, keep it offline. Again, hence why so much of my personal life is kept offline, because that's just the way that I choose to live my life. The very first one, Snapchat. Am I surprised? No. Snapchat is an awful platform, and I know some of the Dougherty kids are on Snapchat. And I don't know why these kids are on social media. I don't know why any kid of a family vlogger would be on their own social media sites. But it says the app doesn't need any introduction at all. After all, it has millions of users from around the globe. However, the popular bubble messaging app does have its fair share of privacy and security issues that may put users' privacy at risk. For instance, the app was hacked in 2014 and a large number of personal photos or Snapchat of users were publicized. Apart from that, the app does destruct the snaps, but there is a short window. People may be able to take screenshots of the snap and later exploit it. The next one is Ask.fm. I've never heard of this. It says the app allows users to ask any question they want, either as an anonymous user or as themselves. However, some people tend to make inappropriate use of the app's anonymity feature by asking vulgar questions and even leave offensive comments. Some even start bullying others by making derogatory remarks. Number 3, TikTok. 500 million active users worldwide. While 13 is the minimum age required to use the app, anyone can download it and there's no proper way to verify age. Another concern for parents is the inappropriate language used in some videos, which isn't suitable for kids. Finally, all TikTok accounts are public by default. This means anyone can view the videos uploaded by your children and get in touch with them. Number 4 is Whisper. Whisper is a confession app where people can make confessions while being anonymous. Users can communicate with any other Whisper user living nearby. The app uses GPS location tracker to track nearby users. As a result, any online predator or pervert can find the location of a victim. In fact, in 2013, a man allegedly used the app to track an underage girl and then raped her. Next is Kick Messenger. Kick Messenger was built to make chat messaging more fun and engaging. Users can send quick text messages, photos, and even sketches. Again, it's another app that can be downloaded by children younger than 13. Since users of any age can access the app, cyber stalkers and even pedophiles can get the opportunity to find young kids and compel them into sending risque photos or their personal information. Wow. Now I'm going to run through the rest because I hit the top 5. The next is Tinder. No reason for your kids to be on Tinder. Number 7 is Instagram. Number 8 is Omegle. There's just so many. Number 9 is Telegram. Number 10 is Blender. Number 11 is Periscope. 12 is House Party. 13 is Voxer. 14 is Holla. 15 is Tumblr. 16 is Visco. 17 is Bigo Live. 18 is WeChat. It says, what social media app is the most toxic? For most internet users, Twitter is the most toxic app among all of the social media platforms. Twitter is dividing people apart instead of bringing them together. I don't have Twitter. I've never had Twitter. I will never have a Twitter. And it's really funny because some YouTubers, if you follow a YouTuber and you follow them on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, you will see different sides of people depending on the social media app. I've seen that myself firsthand with some people that I have followed. And it's just really wild because I always say, like, wherever they're the most unhinged and the most toxic, that's who they actually are. They're just keeping their act clean on other platforms because they probably want sponsorships. They probably want to continue to grow their platform. But, ooh, yeah, yikes. I've seen a lot of unhinged stuff over on Twitter from a lot of YouTubers. The final word is the apps listed cannot be blamed in any way for how they are used. After all, the user needs to be smarter than the app. Plus, asking your kids to stop using any app isn't the ideal way to stop them from getting exposed to online threats. Educating your kids about how to maintain online privacy is a good option too. The best way is to stay cautious of the dangers of these apps your kids are using and educate them on the hazards. You can also use encryption tools like a VPN service to hide your kid's location. I mean, everybody should have a VPN, especially if you have kids, but I think everyone should have a VPN. So those are my little things I wanted to share with you guys today. It's just crazy, and I realize that, you know, kids, especially once they're teenagers, they're going to have cell phones and they're going to have apps that they're active on. But yeah, I think educating and making sure that they know what to do and what not to do, even if it's for a quick second. All it takes is a screenshot and, you know, or a response to something where they can track your location. They're just bad people on the internet. And this is why the youngest members of society should be protected. And that's why most people with a brain hate family vloggers, like I said. So anyway, I have some little things that I need to do around the house, so I'm going to move on with my day. But for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.